Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you're online and are joining us, would you do me a favor and just say hello? It will be a great thing to see how many people are available to talk about the latest research report. We just released this report last week, and while we've never had a larger attendance of any webinars in the last 16 years of doing business, thousands of dealers now have this report in their hands. And if you had a chance to join the webinar on Friday, or if you've downloaded the report and had a chance to review it, I'd love to just ask you to jump in and let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the feedback that I'm getting from this report. Now, if you haven't received a copy yet, or you didn't attend the webinar, there's two good things to know. Number one, you can go to brianpash.com and request this 30-page research report, full color PDF, really easy to follow. And we're going to talk about some of the highlights of the feedback I've been getting over the last few days. I'm able to see people who comment or chat. So if you're watching, would you just take a moment, say hello? Hey, Joseph, what's up? So it's good to see that, technology is working and that you can hear me perfectly. Again, last week, we released this report and, you never know how research that challenges the way we do things in the automotive industry will be received. But the great news is I've talked to agencies, I've talked to website companies, and here's what everyone said. Wow, Brian, you concisely put down what people really didn't know. Good morning, Katie. And, we're going to change the way we do things. And Katie, I don't know if you were in attendance at the webinar. Joseph, I don't know if you were in attendance at the webinar or read the report, but I'd love for you to share any of your thoughts or aha moments from the report. Let me tell you that the biggest takeaway from the report is that dealers can't ignore the fact that the majority of the conversions that they're getting from Google Ads campaigns are for fixed ops, even though variable ops, the new and used car departments, are funding the majority of the ad spend. Now, there's a way to fix the problem. And in this research report, I make a number of suggestions on how to do it. I'd like to talk about the one that maybe is the easiest to address. And again, I've received feedback from other agencies and website companies, even some of the largest advertisers in automotive, and they're like, Brian, you're right. We have been doing it wrong. And so let me set the context of the feedback. You see, Google has told us to advertise, hi Sim, advertise, track conversions, feed those conversions back into Google's algorithm. You see, campaign bidding or keyword bidding really is a thing of the past. The Google bidding engine really takes care of giving you more of the outcomes that you tell it you want. Now, we're not in the e-commerce business where a click generates a shopping cart transaction that is measured and valued. But what does happen today is we have hard conversions and soft conversions. And hard conversions would be, listen, a sales phone call, not a phone call, a sales lead, a sales chat, or a sales text message. The soft conversions would be they used the digital retailing tool to estimate their payment. They downloaded the Carfax report to see the vehicle condition. They filled out a trade-in tool to see how much their car is worth. They looked at photos, they played a video. These are actions that shoppers take. Just because someone clicks on an ad and goes to an SRP or a VDP, they could do nothing that a shopper does. So in the research report, what I'm suggesting is we do not feed back all phone conversions into Google Ads. We don't feed back all phone conversions. We should be feeding back sales conversions plus sales engagement. And I see Katie has a comment here, and I'm sharing that on the screen. So here's what we need to challenge the automotive industry to do. And thank you, Katie, for that comment. What we need to do is say, if we want more shoppers for newer used cars, because that's who's paying for these campaigns, we need to feed back into Google's bidding algorithm weighted actions that gives us more shoppers. So, for example, somebody who looks at a photo would get less points than someone who went into the digital retailing tool and was playing between payments, between lease and finance. You see, most digital retailing tools today throw events into Google Analytics, which would allow us to set a goal for, hey, configure the lease payment or configure the finance payment. Most digital retailing tools are throwing events into Google Analytics that would say, hey, did a trade estimate or did a soft credit pull. Somebody who says, yeah, I want to see how much my payoff is on a car is so much more valuable than someone who just looks at a photo. I would say also someone who uses a digital retailing tool is more valuable than downloading the Carfax report. But the Carfax report is valuable and probably more valuable than a photo view. You see what I'm talking about? We need to have a new framework of feeding into the Google bidding engine shopping actions that are weighted plus shopping conversions. And guess what's going to happen then? You will get less conversions because you're not going to be paying for people who just want to call to see if their car's ready or to book a service appointment. Your cost per conversion may go up a little, but you're getting exactly what the dealer wanted. You mean more sales opportunities? And that's correct. When people talk about conversions or actions or engagement, these are all very, very broad terms, and the research report showed that less than 15% of all phone calls generated by Google's ads represents a person who wants to buy a newer used car. So it's a polluted channel to feed back into Google's bidding engine. Now, I've talked to other agencies, and they're like, Brian, I really never thought of it that way, but now that you call it out, wow, the playbook that dealers have been following or agencies have been following is really a self-fulfilling cycle to generate more fixed ops conversions. So what are we doing at our agency? We want to, hey, Gino's jumping in here. Let me show you that comment from Gino here too. Ask your PPC vendor about bid for max conversion value. This allows you to manage the account and add higher values to certain conversions than others. Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about, Gino. That you need to wait, since Dealer eProcess has Sarah digital retailing tool. I think that the future is not to just feed in phone calls. But by the way, let me just set the context why this is so important. I asked Dealer.com, out of all the conversions for the first 6 months of 2021 from Google Ads, what's the percentage of lead forms versus phone calls? And it was like 85% phone calls. And if 85% is the number of the majority of the conversions, I would say 85% of the conversions being phone, and the majority of phone calls are for service or parts or admin, you can understand how you can't feed phone call conversions blindly. Now, I've talked to the team at Dealer eProcess. I've talked to the team at Dealer Inspire. I'm having more and more conversations that the website companies, the advertising companies need to work tighter with the call management companies like Car Wars, Call Review, Call Source, Interactive Tel, so that when we're using tracking numbers in Google Ads campaigns, we just don't throw an event that said call conversion or mobile click to call. What I want it to be is mobile click to call for sales, mobile click to call for service, mobile click to call for admin, whoever the phone tree is routing. In the meantime, as Gino mentioned, what we need to do is weight the actions, not conversions, those shopping engagements that really show an intent shopper, plus separate out the sales conversions. How do we do that? Most chat companies have an event and messaging companies that will say chat for sales, chat for service. And most website companies can differentiate a lead form for unlock price or get e-price from an employment application. So if you set up your goals properly, like website sales forms and digital retailing sales forms and sales chats and sales text, then those would be your hard conversions. Then those shopping engagements, as Gino mentioned, optimizing the conversions based on a weighted score while we wait for the agencies to do a better job of integrating and separating Google phone calls for sales and service. That's a big change. Now, what the team at PCG Digital has been doing is finalizing our roadmap, which is a standardized view with hard and soft conversions just for sales, weighting them, right? Each agency is going to figure out their weighting system. We have our own weighting system. And I'm going to be excited to share in November the results of moving from what I would say the standard Google playbook, which is put all your phone conversions or your mobile click-to-call conversions plus your lead forms, chats, and text, bad, to a sales-weighted, as Gino mentioned, a sales-weighted conversion or goal outcome structure and how that's going to bid. Now, what we need to understand is that phone calls for fixed stops isn't a bad thing. So if a dealer says, I still want to buy my name and I still want to do Honda dealer near me, then what I want to say is then fixed stops should pay for at least half of that spend. A dealer may be spending $1,500 a month buying their own name, maybe another $1,500 or $2,000 buying just, Toyota dealer near me. Okay, maybe that's $3,000. So fixed ops should be spending at least $1,500 or $2,000 of that, and that will allow variable ops to have more money to do more focus targeting, VIN-specific targeting, long-tail targeting, or as we talked about, overlaying first-party data on top of branding campaigns that are just targeting your message to in-market shoppers. And we talked about the value that third-party marketplaces have. AutoTrader has their audience, and I talked to Kevin Lesage from AutoTrader. They shared some information that active buyers, active shoppers on AutoTrader are 15 times more likely to buy a car in the next 30 days. That's an amazing audience. We shared in the report also some data from Cars.com. That audience is able to be powered through their Fuel video product, through their Facebook and their Google ads. You see, first-party data now is becoming so much more clear why it's valuable, because if you just buy keywords and spray and pray for auto dealers now, because of how much service they do, a lot of the outcomes from local clicks are for people for service or parts or their body shop or just admin. You see, the local aspect of the dealership, most dealers are doing 7-to-1 or 10-to-1 repair orders for every car sold. So Gino, thank you for being very specific about what Dealer eProcess is doing. These are conversations we need to have. But I really think that the education is going to be a continuing process over the next few months. Why do I say that? In November, I'm going to be doing some specific classes at the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit to help dealers understand how to see if their website is tagged with events to track consumer shopping behavior. Number two, what are those standard set of hard and soft conversion goals that they should be setting up to evaluate all their marketing investments? And then how do they make sure that their Google Ads agency are using the right hard and soft conversion goals and not following the standard playbook? And then we're going to see at the conference some amazing case studies of what happens when you overlay first-party data and using better goal optimization. What's the 1-2 punch to really lift performance and just be more efficient in your advertising dollars? So that's an exciting point for November. I want to remind anyone who's watching this video live or later in the day that the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit is the premier event for people who want to improve their skills, training, be challenged, to see first-to-market research. It's about not just marketing, it's about your digital retailing sales process, your in-store retail efficiency. We're going to be having some amazing data-driven presentations. We're challenging the vendor community to put up or shut up, meaning show the data that is the reason why that your product is helping dealers improve their retail efficiency instead of fluff. Same thing with the dealers. We're encouraging the dealers who've had some breakthroughs in their retail process, in their marketing, that they want to share those case studies. We have opportunities for dealers to present to the entire main stage audience, both live in Florida and online, with their breakthrough case studies. So if you're a dealer, marketing manager, dealer executive, we surely would love for you to be part of the educational format. A couple other feedbacks from the report. And first of all, let me just say that very few people do original research. A lot of people just regurgitate other people's research. And anytime you do first-party research, you always have the people who like to throw stones. It was very interesting. I didn't see all the comments, but there were some people who attended the webinar. And as I mentioned what Cars.com was doing, or what I mentioned Dealer.com or Cox was doing, like, oh, here's the sales pitch. Or if I mentioned what our agency was doing, it's like, here's the sales pitch. And I'm like, it's really odd that someone would come on to a professional presentation from a competing agency and whine publicly. Dealers know that for 16 years, we've pioneered research. We saved the industry millions of dollars in waste with Conquest email marketing scams that were going on. We have been educating. I've published 9 books on digital marketing to allow dealers and their teams to do their own thing if they want to get better at what they do. So it's kind of odd that here we are in 2021 and people are doing original research. They don't have their own research and they just, is this a sales pitch? Well, life is about sales pitches. It's about, well, associating with the best of breed people who are thinking ahead, not sheep that are following other bad advice, but actually pioneering new methods, new approaches. When digital retailing first started, we were part of the original thought leadership to move away from forms to conversational commerce. We've pioneered the data strategy to measure engagement to improve advertising outcomes. We've pioneered a retail playbook on how to connect online within store. These are all written in books that are very inexpensive for people to read. Alan, man, so good to see you. Cooper is in the house. So I don't have much interest in whiners and complainers. If you have your own research, go ahead and put it out there. I'm not going to go on your webinar and whine like a little baby that says, oh, here comes the sales pitch. Dealers get pitched all day long. Our research is the challenge the automotive industry to stop being sheep and let the data drive it. Oh, Brian, you must be paid by the third-party marketplaces. No, the research was funded by ourselves to help the auto industry grow. Yes, I have friends in the automotive industry. We all do. but you can read that research report front to back and see that the data shows that the playbook that most of the dealers have been following is wrong. And who is going to be the first person to raise their hand and say, no, what you've been told isn't right? I haven't seen anything come close to the breakthroughs in strategies that we're talking about today. The other point I'd like to make is we have another research report coming out on AutoWeb, which is a very unique advertising platform. And very much like what we learned in looking at Google SEM, is that unless you have your website set up to track events, unless your website is set up to track hard conversions and shopper engagement, it's very hard to know if your Facebook advertising is working, your Google advertising working, your email marketing, or derivative marketplace products like AutoWeb. You mean that, I have people say, Brian, not every click requires someone to act like a shopper, and you're absolutely right. Meaning, if someone's done their shopping, they're ready to buy, and they just want to visit the dealer's website one more time to see if that car's still in stock at that same price, yes, for sure. But overall, if somebody's sending you 500 shoppers or 1,000 shoppers or 10,000 shoppers, what does the majority of the traffic look like? Are they acting like shoppers, or are they coming to your website and doing nothing? Are they clicking on footer links like the Conquest email marketing? The research report really exposes once again that there are no standards in the automotive industry for website engagement. Some website companies have a very exhaustive list of events that they track, but very few dealers know what their names are and what do they mean. Some of them are very cryptic. And again, over the years, I've tried to educate dealers on how to read and interpret their own website data. That's why education has been the way in which we've grown our business. Dealers who want to be part of an organization that is pushing things forward, is not on Google's payroll, who is trying to do what's right for dealers and, of course, make a living. That's what we do. We educate, but we share. We don't hide this information. I publish books, I publish research reports. So if someone needs help, they ask. If someone doesn't need help, they can self-serve. If people are very aggressive and apply what I put out, well, they could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in larger groups, even millions of dollars a year. I've proven that. And that's why it's important that you dive into the research report yourself. Dive into this report. Hey, Patrick, it's good to see you. Make a decision that you're not going to continue to follow a playbook that's funded by your variable ops team, but is generating most of the outcomes for fixed ops. And there's nothing wrong with fixed ops. They just have to pay their fair share. They just have to pay their fair share. And thank you. Somebody says, enjoyed the research packet. Thank you. Really appreciate that. So download the report. You can go to brianpash.com and download the report. And then if you have questions, feel free to send me an email, brian@brianpash.com. For our clients of PCG Digital, our agency, we're having a private webinar tomorrow to go through what specific tactics and actions we're taking for them. And then remember, in November, I want to invite you out to Palm Beach, Florida, to the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit for amazing workshops, panel speakers, keynotes to move the industry forward. If you want to be part of the solution from the vendor community, get registered. There's still some sponsorship opportunities available. If you're a dealer and you want to see the best of the best in action, if you want to learn about new products or new strategies, or if you're the head of a marketing team inside a dealership, this is the conference, because you're not going to be fed baby food. You're going to be fed grown-up food, mastering Google Data Studio, mastering new Facebook advertising strategies, mastering first-party data targeting. These are all advanced skills. This is not, hey, how to handle leads, or hey, how to advertise on Facebook generically. I mean, we're taking it to the next level. So if you're ready for next level, go to automotiveattributionsummit.com and get registered, because it will definitely be an amazing event in November. So I want to thank everyone who has joined the live stream event. This will be available for replay, but the key here is get a copy of the report, because a couple things will change. Number one, you'll realize that the playbook that was recommended for Google Ads is broken. It's not producing the outcomes that dealers thought. Number two, dealers have been kicking third-party marketplaces in the teeth as being inefficient, but really in 2021, your partnership with a third-party marketplace is more valuable than ever, especially because those marketplaces have now created derivative products. Both Cox and Cars.com have created derivative products that allow you to enhance video marketing, Facebook marketing, Google marketing through using their audiences. And there's absolutely things that you should be doing differently to give yourself a competitive edge. Thank you, Patrick, and I'll put up your comment here. I mean, it's been 21 years since Google Ads came out, and I don't remember a single research report that really exposed the outcomes based on the recommended campaign strategies that most dealers are using. And it's time to just put everything in balance. Is there an absolute need to use Google Ads? I believe so. Should you be doing Facebook? Yes. Should you be doing OTT video? Yes. Should you be using third-party marketplaces? Yes. Should you be making sure Google Analytics is set up properly? It's not perfect, but as a tool to inspect engagement, consumer actions, and follow through in your digital retailing platform, absolutely. I've published 9 books to help dealers get better. Books on analytics, books on digital retailing. I just updated the Remote Retailing Blueprint book, which is really our base benchmark book for helping dealers embrace digital retailing. We're doing a whole new training series for digital retailing, just to update our coaching for dealers who want to improve performance and be more efficient. That's what we do best. If you're looking for first-to-market research and a competitive edge, make sure you reach out to me. Make sure you're on my list. You're on my VIP list, Brian@BrianPash.com, and I hope to see you out in November at the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit. It's open to the OEM community, the vendor community, the dealer community, but this is a must-attend event as we look forward to 2022 being a little bit more normal. Right now, dealers are making record profits. It's not a time to get lazy or fat, but it is a time to challenge what we're doing to be more operationally efficient, more effective in our marketing, and to sell more cars at a lower cost in a digital age. Thanks so much for everyone who downloaded the report. Send me your feedback, Brian@BrianPash.com. It's time to challenge the norms and really start to see which advertising investments are driving the most high quality traffic to help you connect with local in-market shoppers. And that is a challenge that we've taken on full head on in this research report. Love to get your feedback. Have a great day.